In the top right, our red Protoss player. This is Creator in our semi-finals. Some PvZ on his hands. Ain't gonna be easy, never is. When on the other side of the map sits the blue Zerg from Basilisk. Two-time world champion, Serral. Altitude for game number 1 of the series. Get this underway. Creator in the upper right side. I can say Serral on the bottom left. Get this one started. See what is ahead of us here. Oliveira waits in the finals for the winner of this best of 3. So that's going to be a Terran versus Protoss Zerg best of 5. Very fun. Coming up, scouting around. As we get going here, just gonna drop a hatch gas and pool in the bottom. And just gonna be seeing a extractor coming around a little bit. So getting that up and running. Nothing too exciting, right? I mean, a lot of the time, early game PvZ is kind of meant to be slow going. It is kind of meant to be a little bit passive and everything, so nothing too crazy just yet. Gonna be Snap Probe pulling out over to the side. Just gonna see a couple lings coming across, Probe taking some damage. Gonna see our depth continuing down to the bottom left, having a little bit of a look to see what's going on. And our depth just gonna come down the bottom side, trying to see a little bit of what's happening here, Ellie. Pretty kind of chill start. In these early stages, just going to be seeing our link speed and a couple queens still coming up. Then we have an Oracle, just providing high ground vision. Stalker going to come through. And we do have ourselves a Stalker just continue to whack away at this Overlord for a couple moments. Overlord is going to go down. Nexus, pylon, couple gates all coming up. Our Oracle's still coming across. This has been just, again, a very slow first few minutes of the game, but not too much to shout about, but it should get more exciting now. This is where Oracles can obviously start to find their damage. This is where Protoss players can start to really carve a lead in the early stages. As the Oracle comes over, the creep spread gets knocked down initially. And we do just see a couple more lings making their way out onto the map. Rotoran coming up to being halfway done. The few extra drones are still producing as well. And our hatchery also building up on the bottom side as well. Oracle takes some shots. Queens gonna fire through. Getting a little bit of damage getting dealt. Drones, lings continue to produce here. Robo facility, a couple of adepts continue to produce. And just seeing our Ling drone counter continuing to rise as our Oracle journeys around the middle of the map. Here come the Adepts. There's not glaives or anything, obviously. It's just gonna be a few Adepts to combine with the Oracles to try and make a frustrating defense early. You know, if you only have Lings against this, the Adepts can be very scary, especially because the Oracles can protect the Adepts from the Lings. Serral has good numbers to begin with, though, as we see sentries warping in. Okay, every time you see sentries, it almost always feels like it means an attack is coming. We'll open a couple. We do have Twilight Forge on the way behind us, so maybe I'm not quite right on that, but I saw the sentries, I was like, uh-oh, Creator, like, what are we setting up for? Like, what kind of attack are we trying to do here in the next few moments? See our Zerglings continue to the top. A couple of Oracles getting turned around by these Queens once again. Still seeing our Lings in the center, our Adepts, our Sentries moving around too. And the Oracles back over to the left-hand side. As Lings also continue around the left, they're going to now head down to the south. Oracles taking some shots. Lings hanging about. The Queen's still building. Three, four, five. Drones going down. Uh-oh, Spore Crawler. Spore Crawler. Oh my god. Okay, 6 drones, but we lose the Oracles. I don't like it, guys. I mean, when you lose Oracles like that, you know, to some extent, yes, you know, it's nice to get drone kills, but that's all your map vision, right? This is all of your way of controlling, revelating, dealing with creep spread early on. Okay, we've got the Prism, we've got some activity still available, but man, we actually still have 1 Oracle too. It just feels like so much is lost there for Creator. And of course, like 6 minutes in the game, 6 drones is so much more replaceable than if this was at like 4 minutes. If you're like 4 minutes and you lose an Oracle for like 6 weeks, I'm like, hell yeah, let's do this. 6 minutes, 6.5 minutes, it's just a very different story in terms of what can be afforded, what can be rebuilt, and all of that as our Nexus builds to the top side. We've seen a couple of batteries going down, Robo Facility coming up. As we do have our Lings, Roaches, Ravagers moving to the top of the map. So we've seen our Prism still chilling around. And obviously just keeping an eye on things as our Spore Crawler going to get a few more shots off. There is the Adepts kind of sitting here defensively. And how these sentries are actually going to be put to use? Well, they have a good few force fields because I mentioned how early they got built. I don't think Creator has a way to defend this, guys. Honestly, like, this is a lot of Zerg units. And we're really just relying on the batteries. The problem is the moment you drop the super battery, it's not going to last very long. Of course it's not. Like, in what world was that going to last very long when there's the Zerg hounded on the doorstep in range of pretty much all of the batteries straight away? That said, the couple of mortals from the north side are doing decently. The creep spread's allowing the Queens to transfuse. Serral could actually, at this point, probably really do with reinforcements. Okay, I was wrong. This was way better for Serral than for Creator than I thought it would be. I thought Creator would be dead straight away. He's holding on, he's dancing. The Overlords are repositioning the creeps so that we can keep on A, having the mobility, and B, having the transfusions, although there's not many Queens with energy left. Super Battery will be online again, what, like 20 seconds or so at this point, as our Roaches working through a couple more Zealots. We've seen a couple of Immortals going down. Prism just coming back on over. There's going to be seeing our Stalkers, Immortals, a couple of High Templar. Going to morph into an Archon here, and we do have this force ready to rumble. Roaches, Ravagers continue to jump up into these Overlords. And now Serral just going to find more creative ways to try and push on through. But if he can't break him, I mean, Serral's tech is not exactly brilliant. Around the left-hand side, Ravager just going to get morphed in. It's going to be seeing a couple of biles. Only seeing a couple of Roaches getting caught in the Stasis Ward is obviously pretty neat. And here we go, dropping the main base. I mean, this is scary because, I mean, your Twilight's here, your Forge's here. I think we just fight as these units come in because there's no batteries here either, right? So this is actually a pretty good fight for the Roaches where they can just fight things and actually get kills. The Prism isn't here yet either, so you can't lift up, and yeah, this is going to be our... I mean, a better trade, I guess, for Serral, but he's still struggling to really push through and end things. That is still his big challenge at the moment, and maybe now he will find it as he goes to the front. And he's just forcing Creator to reposition so many times that at this stage, he is actually starting to get a lot of the tech units tech units are really the bane of Serral's army. Serral's army is kind of low tech, but there's a lot of it. Tech units in low numbers do not deal with that. But tech units in any sort of better numbers, that's where Serral's force will really start to struggle. So it's important to create the fights where you can kill Immortals, where you can kill Archons. And that is what he started to do in these last few moments. Still working off of only 65 drones. Creator with an income lead. As we're now going to go diving onto that Twilight Council in the main base. We are going to deny charge, I think. Roaches, they're going to get it. Okay, charge gets denied. So we're going to stop the Zealots coming through. As Serral's follow-up now is a Spire and a Hive. Man, what a wild game. Serral, I really felt like when the first attack came in, he was in such a good spot. Now, the longer this game goes on, generally the better it is for Creator. But Serral, has he maybe done enough to actually get up to further tech and still be okay? Still only 66 workers. It's going to be seeing that Spy coming up. Hive coming in. Battle's going to knock down not just the battery there, but the pylon too, so the warping gets halted. Just going to have to back it up. Spire still producing. What are we going to build off that Spire? Hive is done. Just instantly greater Spire, maybe? Immortals dropping on the bottom side. Cell doesn't even try and attack them. He recognizes that Creator's just going to have to lift up on that. Trying to escape away. One more Biles. Prism coming over. A couple of these Immortals getting dropped off once again. Just seeing now our army going backwards and forwards. 6 probes being killed. I mean, 6 probes is nice and all, but at this stage, Serral's supply is hurting. And it's hurting badly. I mean, 154, like, you need to be maxed out with this army. I get that he's making a transition, but he's making this transition off of such little stuff. Can't really say that feels great for you, right? As Corrupt isn't, like I say, a great aspire for the Broodlords. Coming online here initially. And it's just going to see a couple of Ravagers firing up a Storm. Gonna knock down a cannon over here already. Still seeing a couple Archons coming up. The charge is coming through. The +3 air weapons is coming in as well. And yeah, I mean, see what we do. Corruptors continue to join into the middle of the map. We kind of need Broodlords right now. Like, Creator is pushing. The whole point of this army is to be able to go before Broods are ready. We actually made Phoenix already, anticipating potentially Mutas off that Spire. 4 Broodlord star, that's not a lot. Can we afford any more? As the minerals fly in, we're going to get a 5th one started. The Serral's buying a bit of time. He's got creep, he can micro a little bit. He's got the position initially. Throws of Bile's going to land on some of these Immortals. Some of the Immortals starting to get low. And we're at least going to get 5 Broodlords in this big battle, guys. That might just be enough for Serral to truly hang on to this. Let's find out as we just have Archons back around to the right. The Immortals joining up. A couple more Corruptors coming out. Creator behind this says, cool, Fleet Beacon, extra Stargate, get all of this going. And what an awesome PvZ. So action-packed. For PvZ, it doesn't usually happen like this, but hell, yeah. Queen's coming around, just going to be seeing Serral going to launch forwards. I think Serral's got to go now before the Stargates come up. The Broodlords are nice, but I don't think he's got the economy or the setup to really play a much longer game with anything like that. Some Ravagers coming over. I'm just going to see the Phoenix get a little lift off. As we move on through, just coming straight up. Sentries going down, a couple of Biles hitting the Zealots. And Broodlords just kind of provide that little bit of damage that at the moment Creator can't deal with, but he's getting the Tempest up, so he probably can push those Broodlords back very soon. Both Phoenix go down. The Broodlord's going to sit here, dropping straight down onto this gateway. Stalkers blink forward, though. Who needs the Tempest? If we can just blink onto them, the transfusion save the next one. Serral still pushing through. Hydra Den on the way up as he needs some anti-air against the incoming Tempest as well. Lings, Broodlings coming through. Lings and Roaches up the left-hand side. Aiming for this Nexus, knocking this straight down. Base is going to fall. Stalker's getting pushed back a little bit further. Still had Tempest up in the sky. Immortal as well. Having to kind of stay back just a little bit. Serral knocking down this base is a big deal. I mean, that takes away some of the income of Creator. And maybe, just maybe, gives him a chance further down the line. More Corruptors coming over. We're still just so Roach Ravager heavy. He's trying to go to Lurkers, which would be great against a lot of the Stalkers and so on. Ravager back down into the center once again. Just going to be seeing the Archons coming through. Creator coming across, heading to this army. Trying to cut it off. He's not going to get there in time, so he's not quite going to find that. As you do see, our additional broods, our corruptors still coming in. Just for the moment. Fling's gonna go in. We're gonna have our Nexus taken down immediately, probe, and push back as well. Just gonna have our Overlord is gonna get knocked down immediately too. Take that out. Our Stalker's picking up some of these Lings. Quite a lot of those Lings actually end up going down here and just having more Zealots around the left-hand side. Gonna come for this push across. The right side gonna take down a base. It's gonna be seeing our army from Creators now rotating around the top left. He's making carriers get in storm. Serral's lasted long enough in this game to start seeing the things I never thought he would get. You know, the Broodlords are gonna be supported by Infestors. There's gonna be Lurkers with upgrades as well. You know, when I said Serral, you know, kind of had to go when he did, and he really did just go at that moment, but it didn't kill Creator, but he did enough to kind of then keep on teching up himself. It's being absolutely wild. Voids, Immortals, Stalkers up overhead. Just going to see our Corruptors coming through. And we're just going to be seeing our Tempest getting knocked away at, so they're going to go down. The Archons are going to get caught in a fungal growth as well. It's actually a fantastic start here, Serral. Man, when he gets to this kind of an army, it's fascinating how good he can be. These Archons get taken down, and Observer was fungled in the skies as well. Roach Ravager comes through, a couple of Biles, Immortals have to back it up. Immortal goes down, Corruptors come over. Oracle is going to get picked off, the Void Ray as well, and I mean these Corruptors are just going to take down Void Rays because there's not enough of them to really contest, so going to get a few kills. Okay, it's a little scary towards the end. Probe's coming over. It's going to be seeing our Ling Roach Ravager coming through. Going to dive in on the left-hand side. He's just going to go straight in for this hatchery. I mean, at this point, Creator's just going to go. He's not really set up to let this game go longer. He is going to kill a base, though, which is definitely a step in the right direction for him. Another Fungal. Broodlords continue to drop down those Immortals. And just going to see our Corruptors still going in. Carrier, Void Ray. All of that getting picked off. Corruptor's still up in the sky in the end. Creator types GG. What a fascinating PvZ. And what a fantastic display from Serral, who just didn't make it work early and had to keep on hounding his way through this game. And eventually, in the top left, let's start off with the blue Protoss player. He will be down a game. I mean, credit to him, defending and holding and holding and defending. And honestly, he pushed at the right times as well. Like, he had great game sense. He had a great idea of when to go, when to try and punish. It's just so difficult when the opponent's so good. In the top left, it is Creator, our blue Protoss on Dragon Scales. In the bottom right, our red Zerg from Basilisk. This is Serral. Alrighty, guys. Yeah, it is being cool. Again, winner of this plays Oliveira in a best-of-5 finals here in the Kung Fu Cup number 7. Finals today, yes, it's just an open cup. All played in one day, guys. All played in one day. That's the awesome part about Kung Fu Cup, big prize money. 1 day. Kind of ridiculous prize money, considering it's just like a 1-day event. Probe is wondering. As you see our pool finishing up in the back, just going to be seeing our cyber core setting up, our simulator coming down. Our Nexus building about halfway done here. A couple queens, couple lings, all producing on the side of Serral. Obviously, we wait for the cyber core to be done from Creator. That will give us our first real indicator as to where we're going in this series. See what kind of tech he wants to bring up, see what kind of play we're going to head into. All very reasonable questions to be asking. Here in game number 2. We get the probe kill. Twilight Council is the choice here from Creator as well, by the way. So immediately going to head into that more aggressive kind of routing here for game number 2. We're not messing around, getting straight into it, as I say. Let's see what we do as our Twilight comes up. Stalker and Gate, Warp Gate on the way up as well. Isn't it so cool to see Creator just be like a truly top tier player? Like, because Creator was like one of the very best early, and he was so young. And here we are so many years later when so many people have come and gone, seen greatness, won championships, done it all. And throughout this entire time, Creator kind of just grinding away, never quite reaching the peaks he'd once reached. You know? I genuinely feel as though it's very, very fun to see how Creator has kind of progressed and developed, and yeah, awesome. Love that he's still here, love that he's still doing it, and now really, again, back at the very top at GSL Finals in the not-so-recent history, consistently contending at the top, you know, end of these events. It's very cool. Resonating Glaives is the choice, so a bit more of an aggressive routing in the early stages here from Creator, whereas Serral just going to play Lair Roach Roar is pretty much... I mean, you don't usually play Lair against a fast Glaive build, but... Well, let's see what it goes into. I mean, that's just gas invested. That's not going to necessarily help you defend. There are roaches on the way out. This is a lot of gateways, by the way. 4, 6 gateways. So, one of the more aggressive glaved attacks incoming. As our devs move through into the center and heading down towards the south. Seven drones coming through, oversee overhead. Let's see how few devs going to go shading by towards the natural. Well, the roaches here initially should deal with this. Okay, Serral had to kill his own creep tumor because it's blocking him building the Evo Chamber wall off, which he wants to use as part of his defense here. By using the Evo Chamber to wall off, he might get away with going to roach speed, but I don't think Serral realizes just how aggressive this is. With this round of adepts showing up, now Serral should know, crap, that's a lot of adepts. The good news, though, he doesn't have to split his army around too much because these adepts aren't let into the natural. This wall off is something Serral's been toying with over, well, since the 2020 Katowice, when adept glaive still became a thing. He's really been one of the few to really stand by the kind of the idea of opening and closing a door. And Katowice, I remember, he built a spore crawl and he would basically use it as a door and burrow to let his units out, burrow to block the adepts. There's a lot of adepts, guys. Like I say, Serral building around of drones really was not the prettiest of situations, and this is why, because even though there's roaches here and ready to go, there is a lot of adepts, and they can actually straight up fight them a little bit. The adept shade will not get into the base. Serral puts that Evo Chamber down again. And for the moment, the roaches chase those adepts away to the left-hand side, but this is the powerful part of 6 gates. You can go into the main with the prism and just warp in adepts anyway, right? So you're not just stuck in one position, and this time the wall does not go up. The adepts do not shade, though. Serral still only lost 2 drones. If he doesn't take major damage here, he's obviously in an amazing position because 6 gates is extremely committed from Creator. So There is a world where Serral holds this, and he's in an amazing spot. Are we getting to that sort of stage right now? 15 drones going down. Creator's finally starting to find some of his real damage done here, as the Adepts in the main base especially have just split Serral up and definitely kept him a little bit more preoccupied than he originally wanted to be. Now, Roach is still coming through. The Adepts are going to load back into the Prism. Nexus drops down onto the third location. Blink still coming through. Roach is chasing. Adepts go down on the right side. Queens will be fighting. Adepts taking damage. 5 drones, 6 drones already going down. 7 drones going down. Serral's on the other side, though. Going to cancel the third base. You can take a lot of damage from this as long as you're still kind of alive, standing at the end of it. You're still okay, right? Because that's how committed the opponent is. And that's what it really comes down to here, is our Queens does some good damage onto that Prism, pushes it back around the main base once again. And those 3 Roaches still just tracking that Prism, sitting underneath it, making sure those Adepts cannot drop out. They cannot do anything to change the current trajectory of this situation. This is the issue, right? Still without a third base. Serral's already on Roach speed. He's getting missiles. You know, if Creator did this amount of damage and Serral was on, like, hatch-based tech still, I actually might be okay with it. But the fact Serral had Roach speed because he went for the early lair, which isn't normal against Glaive builds, that, I think, is where Creator might start to run into trouble, because now Serral has access to so many different bits and bobs. He's going to go Burrow and Tunneling Claws, which obviously not really usually seen in ZvP, but could be very cool here when someone's being kind of very much so focused on aggression. You know, you ask Creator about an Observer. Well, he has built one. It's over here on this left-hand side. That might become very important. Prism being kept over on the side. Just going to see that Burrow coming up. Link Speed coming up. Tunneling Claws, +1 missiles. All of that still coming through. Our Stalkers will get rid of a Creep Tumor at the top. Pushing forward, our Roach Ravager coming through as well, pushing those Stalkers away, and the Roaches. Oh, beautiful force fields! The Burrow will not save them because there is indeed detection. We don't have Tunneling Claws yet. We're trying to chase down the Observer. The Queen's nearly got it. Oh man, Creator gets a bunch of kills there, pretty much for free, so that's a great start. Take that every day of the week. As Creator now looking to keep on pushing through. His Blink is done, so the Stalkers are powered up a little bit. Serral is fighting again. Oh no, the Prism's full. It can't save the Immortals with the Adepts inside, obviously. So that wasn't too pretty. 11 more Roaches still coming through. Link Speed still producing. We are going to get the base in the bottom left corner. 5 more Stalkers warping in. Roaches on the other side going to find a counterattack, pressuring Creator to keep going with this attack. Yes, you lost your fourth base, Serral, but he's going to take down essentially the third base of Creator here. Does he have what he needs to fight this? Currently has the upgrade lead with the +1 missiles in play for him. The Roaches are in the natural. The Roach Ravager is pounding on this army, and I don't think Creator has enough currently. Stalkers do have their blink, but they've got work to do. Puts the Prism into warp-in mode after the biles have gone out. That's the best play you can make in that regard. But yeah, Creator just doesn't have enough, and he's losing all of the economy back at home. That, my friends, is going to be GG's. That is going to do it. And we are going to see Serral 2-0 into the Grand Finals. Another Serral Oliveira Finals. We had one in Week 1. They're going to meet again. Can Oliveira do